Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday edition of the Huddle Hub Podcast. My name is Metal Mike, and today, the very first day of training camp officially in the NFL, which means it's the first day of the preseason, and also a bunch of news coming out of the world of football. Plus, I got a fun little segment put together for you guys today. We are going to go over some of the names that are going to be on the free agent market in 2027. Okay, now I know it seems a little early to be talking about something like this, but a player who arguably deserves an extension walked into training camp today without a deal, without an extension, anything. So he, in 2027, would officially become a free agent on the free agent market. And, yeah. So why not talk about this? Why not talk about the players that could possibly end up on the free agent market in 2027 to kind of look forward to what we might get in 2027? And the reason why also to go over this is because we know teams are going to start going into that rebuild mode. There's a lot of teams out there that are in rebuild mode right now that are looking ahead to the 2027 free agent market already, kind of looking past the 2026 NFL season because they know it's not going to be the greatest year for them. So, and here's the thing, is you could sit there all you want and say, oh, teams don't think that way. Teams think that way. Teams think ahead. Teams think about things 2 years, 3 years down the road, especially when it comes to the NFL draft. I mean, for example, the Philadelphia Eagles, they scouted Quinyon Mitchell for 4 years, and then they ended up drafting him, right? So they think that far ahead. Teams think this far ahead. So we're going to talk about some of the players that are going to be hitting the free agent market that could possibly end up elsewhere in 2027 because of not getting an extension. And I'm talking about, some of your bigger names that could be potential starters or are going to be starters if they end up elsewhere. Okay, so that's what we're going to get into today. But before we get into that, we're going to, real quick, make sure after the show today, you head over to the Huddle Hub podcast over on social media. If my thing would come up. There we go. Come on. There we go. Over on TikTok, Instagram, X, and on Epic Studios at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit that follow button over on the YouTube. You're going to hit that subscribe button. That's how you follow on the YouTube. And, of course, over on the Twitch channel, you're going to hit that follow button as well. Over at the Huddle Hub Podcast, if you are not watching on Twitch, head over there, hit that follow button. And all the links to our social media bios are in the Twitch channel. You click on the one you desire to go to because I know not everybody uses every social media outlet. And help us build the Huddle Hub Podcast through the rest of the 2026 preseason and beyond. So, and here's the thing is I sit here today and I say every day, every show, I say, I know not everybody uses every social media outlet. Okay. Because I feel like this show reaches and could reach the demographic between any age. Okay, that's what this show is made for. This show is for the demographic of a football fan. Whether you're just starting to watch football, I started watching football at the young age of 4 or 5 years old. Okay, so there are young fans out there. And obviously, social media is a big thing in the world. So, and today, kids are using iPads and everything like that, watching YouTube. That is why we try our best to watch the language we use on here because you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching. There could be a 76-year-old grandfather sitting at home, retired after working hard, and wants to watch some football content and might need something new to watch because they're sick of what they're used to watching, or they just want something new and a different perspective to watch, right? And this is a perspective of the fan. Me, John, and Cam, we're fans. We are football fans at the end of the day. Now, yes, we have our own teams. Eagles and Penn State. John is the 49ers and Florida State. And Cam is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think Cam actually has a college team. But he roots for teams in college football. So we all have our own fandom. But our focus is the world of football. And we are a very unbiased, opinionated crew here. Just because I'm an Eagles fan, if you go and watch my quarterback rankings the other day, I ranked Dak Prescott higher than Jalen Hurts. I did a rough copy of my running back rankings, which I was going to do on Sunday, but then I scratched it. Saquon Barkley was ranked 10th. And guess what? Javonte Williams from the Dallas Cowboys was ranked, I think, 5th or 6th. Okay. So it's the unbiasedness that we have here. And we have our teams that we are fans of at the end of the day, like everybody else. But we are here to give you the product of football in a whole and to be fair to each team. I was listening to a live stream last night. Okay. Now, my thing is when I'm playing video games, I have live streams playing and I watch other live streams while I'm playing video games. And there was one particular live stream I was watching last night, and there was a 76-year-old grandmother who was on this live stream as a guest. And just to hear the reach of social media that she does was outstanding. Outstanding to hear. Now, my mom, she's in her 60s, and she messes around on social media, but there's only certain social medias that she messes around on. But she's not in depth with it. So to hear people that did not grow up with this technology or don't have the full-on knowledge of technology to be involved in things is fucking amazing. It's fucking amazing. And hats off to those that come and watch our content. because us content creators reach in the demographic of between 18 and 50. A lot more older content creators out there. I know. I watch a couple. One of my favorites, a scam baiter named Doc Compton. Go check him out. Fucking amazing. Love watching Doc's show every day. And I was just watching his show before I got on here today. So shout out to Doc Compton for what he does in the scam baiting community. Shout out to anybody who goes out there in the scam baiting community and takes care and helps keep us safe and teach us and educate us from the people that are trying to take what we earn. But Doc is one of my top favorites and love watching his show every day. Shout out to him. So first day of training camp today kicked off. Let's get into the news of things, starting off with the Philadelphia Eagles giving defensive tackle Jalen Carter a 4-year, $152 million extension worth up to $160 million. He's getting $106 million guaranteed. This is a huge deal because there was a lot of talk this offseason about the possibilities of Jalen Carter being traded. He's going to hit the free agent market next year. He's going to be elsewhere. Philadelphia, Howie Roseman did not let that happen. He is locked in as a Philadelphia Eagle for the next 4 seasons. And I'm super excited for this because, yet again, I'm an Eagles fan. But this is very exciting for Philadelphia and for this fan base because we know that one of the best defensive players in this league is locked in Philadelphia for the next couple seasons. And it's an exciting thing to know and hear. So congratulations to Jalen Carter for getting his extension. And I'm excited to see what Jalen Carter continues to do in the city of Philadelphia and with the Philadelphia Eagles. Offensive tackle Brian O'Neill of the Minnesota Vikings. He also received a 4-year, $96 million extension. Huge deal for the Minnesota Vikings. They have a lot of issues right now as far as cap space. They're trying to clean some things up. They're able to bring some players in through free agency. Had to let go of one of their bigger bigger defensive players during the draft in a trade with Philadelphia. But it seems like they're starting to kind of get back into the realm of being able to build and continue build this Minnesota football team. A lot of eyes are on this Minnesota team this year. One big reason why is because of the quarterback position. We know that. The quarterback position is a very focused position this year in Minnesota. And that's because they have a battle going on between Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy right now. So that's going to be the big question, is who's going to be the starting quarterback. I think it's going to be Kyler Murray. Honestly, I think that is going to be his team to start the season off and see where Minnesota can go, because we know J.J. McCarthy has not had the best start to his career. Obviously, in year one with the injury, being out for the whole year, that's what brought Sam Darnold in. Sam Darnold to have that amazing season in Minnesota, only to lose in the playoffs. Then the following year, last year, year two, J.J. McCarthy again having issues with injuries. But this time, Sam Darnold not there to kind of bail out. As we know, Sam Darnold goes to Seattle, wins the Super Bowl. But Minnesota, I think they're learning very early here to know that J.J. McCarthy. I'm sorry, I'm trying to take a note here of something that I didn't take a note of. I think the Vikings are learning very early that J.J. McCarthy may not be their guy. And bringing a guy like Kyler Murray, and we know Kyler Murray has not had the best go-ahead in Arizona. Arizona was a rough place for Kyler Murray. For him to get this fresh start in Minnesota is huge. He has Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson. Like, he's got a team around him that's going to be able to support him. He had a team around him in Arizona. He had James Conner. He had Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr. He had a team around him. But you look at the Minnesota offense and you think, who's better, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Justin Jefferson? J-Jet all day. No argument on that. Who's the better tight end, TJ Hockenson or Trey McBride? Trey McBride, he had a hell of a season last year. TJ Hockenson is a very proven tight end in this league. So the experience of TJ Hockenson along against Trey McBride, who, had a hell of a year last year. Let's see if he can repeat it this year. So it's kind of 50-50 at the tight end position. Running back position, running back position is going to be somewhat of an upgrade for him because he has Aaron Jones in the backfield. He also has Jordan Mason now, opposed to what he had with James Conner out in Arizona. Things, I think, look a little better for Kyler Murray out in Minnesota. I do. And I think he's going to have a better outcome in Minnesota. And that's possibly going to be his team. I think J.J. McCarthy might end up getting traded before the trade deadline this year. I thought it was going to happen by the beginning of preseason. But I think they're going to see what they fully have with Kyler Murray. So I think Kyler Murray is going to do successful things out in Minnesota, and I think J.J. McCarthy is out by the trade deadline. Because you got to think, Minnesota won't be eating a lot of money trading him as a rookie right now, especially on that rookie deal. They won't. They'll be eating what? Maybe $1 million? $2 million? Might be slightly more. But it's still the point. This is going to be Kyler Murray's team for the foreseeable future. And I see Kyler Murray getting a deal. And he is on the list of 2027 free agents. So, but we will talk about that in a few minutes. Vita Vea, defensive tackle. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers requested a trade today. This is huge because I was talking to Cam last night, and there's reports out that the Pittsburgh Steelers are interested in picking up Baker Mayfield, who is set to be a free agent in 2027. Now, I think Tampa Bay is going to get something done with Baker before the season kicks off this year. But at the same time, you see Mike Evans walk out the door. Chris Godwin, I believe, is a free agent in 2027. He is a free agent in 2027. I believe he's a free agent in 2027. I think I had it written down here. No, he's not. Okay, never mind. Oh, yeah, he is. He is a free agent in 2027. So Chris Godwin possibly out the door in 2027. Vita Vea wants a trade. Mike Evans is in San Francisco now. Bucky Irvin is a unproven running back in Tampa. Does Baker Mayfield truly want to stay in Tampa? I mean, he's mentioned that he loves being there. He loves the organization, all that stuff. But it looks like Tampa Bay is kind of falling apart a little bit in front of our eyes. So what? Baker go out there, show what he can do, prove to other teams that he's worth money, and then in 2027 get a deal. And there's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers having interest. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers, we know Aaron Rodgers on his last year. They have Will Howard. They have Drew Aller, Mason Rudolph. That quarterback room out in Pittsburgh isn't 100% attractive. You bring Baker Mayfield in, things might get a little more attractive. And plus, when you look at that team in Pittsburgh, there's some promising factors there. And bringing in Rico Dowdle, Jaylen Warren being there. I mean, this Pittsburgh team, if they bring in Baker Mayfield, it might be huge. It might be huge. But part of me feels like that Tampa Bay team is going to get a deal done with Baker before we kick off the 2026 season. But we'll have to keep an eye on it and see. Safety Jamal Adams has signed with the Minnesota Vikings as well. So a big help on the defensive side of the ball for the Minnesota Vikings again. Lost arguably their biggest linebacker to the Philadelphia Eagles during the draft in a trade. Now they got to kind of build on that defense a little bit, and their defensive backfield isn't too shabby. To add Jamal Adams into this, a 10-year veteran, played in Vegas with the Raiders a long time, and now he's in Minnesota. So let's see how things pan out for him in Minnesota. And last but not least, with the Minnesota Vikings, they will be inducting Adrian Peterson, their former running back, into their Ring of Honor on Monday, November 9th on Monday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. As we know, Adrian Peterson, I mean, he bounced around the league a little bit after he was in Minnesota. He went to New Orleans. He played in Arizona. But he is very foremost well-known in Minnesota. Adrian Peterson pretty much did everything he did in Minnesota. So it's great to see that the Minnesota Vikings are honoring him, putting him in the Ring of Honor, and giving him that recognition. I believe Adrian Peterson is a year away from the Hall of Fame, a year away from being able to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So let's look at the list of players. Yes, Adrian Peterson is going to be eligible in 2027. Adrian Peterson, Ben Roethlisberger, Rob Gronkowski, Cam Newton, Antonio Brown, Richard Sherman, Andrew Whitworth are all going to be first-time eligible players. Other first-year players, Alex Mack, Eric Weddle, Gerald McCoy, Le'Veon Bell, Joe Hayden, and Malcolm Jenkins. So some automatic return finalists for 2027, Terrell Suggs, Marshall Yanda, and Will Anderson. Those are guys who were, I guess, on a ballot, and they didn't make it. They are finalists, and they're going to be put back on the ballot in 2027. So Adrian Peterson, I mean, this could be a huge year for him towards the back end of 2026 and the beginning of 2027. And as we know, during Super Bowl week, that's when we find out who our Hall of Fame inductees are. I think Adrian Peterson definitely is a first ballot Hall of Famer. So I think Adrian Peterson will be a part of that class in 2027, and we will find all that out at the Honors Awards in February. So, but congratulations to Adrian Peterson, the first step of getting inducted to a team's Ring of Honor in the Minnesota Vikings. So, but that's all we got for the news. And we also have some news that came out over the past couple days. The wife of offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs, Eric Bieniemy, is in the hospital right now. She was shot by their 27-year-old son yesterday, and she's in stable condition. Their son was arrested and is in jail behind bars right now. Sad news there, but the good news is she is stable, in good condition, and she will survive, which is great news. Great news. Sad news for the family for a situation like this to happen. All the well wishes and everything go out to Eric Bieniemy and his wife, and to a speedy recovery for her. It's a great news that she's going to recover. Great news. And also Kyle Shanahan, head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, back on July 14th, got into a nasty car accident. He is recovering from this car accident. He got up to 32 stitches in his face, which is nasty to hear. More news about this came out today where he almost lost an eye. He had a couple broken ribs. He had broken arm. Like, it's such a nasty car accident back in front, like towards his home in California. But great news is that he survived. He's recovering. He is currently not on the field with the team at training camp right now, but he is at the building, which, dedication from him, recovering from a nasty car accident, 32 stitches to the face. I mean, it's freaking crazy. There goes that language. That's freaking crazy. So it's so good to hear that he's survived. He is recovering, and he is planning to be on the sideline for week 1 against the Los Angeles Rams when we kick off the 2026 NFL season. So speedy recovery for Coach Shanahan as well, and the San Francisco 49ers. But that's all we got for the news, guys. Real quick, the top 100 for the NFL. As we know, this list has been coming out Monday through Friday. A player gets announced at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. And then from August 24th to September 4th, the top 10 will be announced. Okay, so we got 4 more players announced today, and that is number 50 to 41. At number 50, free safety of the Los Angeles Chargers, Derwin James. Derwin James was on this list last year, and he actually moved up 4 spots from number 54 to number 50. At number 49, offensive guard of the Chicago Bears, Joe Thuney. He has never been on this list, or he was not on this list last year, so he is on the top 100 list this year. Number 48, Josh Hines-Allen, defensive end of the Jacksonville Jaguars, moved up 17 spots. Congratulations to him for moving up 17 spots on the top 100 list. And at number 47, cornerback of the Philadelphia Eagles, Quinyon Mitchell, he moved up 2 spots from last year from 49 to 47. Right now, the player counts for all teams, the Ravens and Panthers both have 4 players. The Rams, Broncos, Packers, Jaguars, Bears, and Bears have 3 players. The Patriots, 49ers, Cardinals, Chiefs, Saints, Bucks, Texans, Eagles. I didn't erase the Chargers on there. Texans and Eagles have 2 players. Commanders, Cowboys, Bills, Jets, Dolphins, Seahawks, Raiders, Lions, and Steelers. And Browns, Falcons, Colts, Titans all have 1 player. And then the Giants, Vikings, and Bengals have no players on this list yet. So that is the updated list for the top 100. More players will be announced on Wednesday, Thursday, and on Friday. And we will have the updated list for you on the Sunday edition of the Huddle Podcast, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Twitch and on YouTube. We're going to be right back in about 60 seconds. This quick commercial break here on the Huddle Podcast, and we're going to talk about the top free agents in 2027. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All All right, guys, make sure you're heading over to the Huddle Up Podcast after the show today, hitting that follow button over on TikTok, Instagram, X, and on Epic Studios at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit the subscribe button over on the YouTube. And, of course, over on Twitch at the Huddle Hub Podcast. All of our social media outlets are in the Twitch bio. You just click on the one you desire to go to and help us build the Huddle Hub Podcast through the rest of the 2026 preseason and beyond. All right, guys, let's get into the top free agents in 2027. Okay. So again, I know it seems a little early for this list, but why not? Right? Why not? Because Baker Mayfield going into camp without an extension this year, the possibilities of him walking in 2027 and ending up elsewhere, the Pittsburgh Steelers showing some early interest in him. And just other players that want to get that contract, that big contract, with teams getting a boost in cap space in 2027. Each team will get a $323 million cap boost, which is crazy. And the Pittsburgh Steelers will get themselves kind of out of cap hell in 2027. Now, I was looking into it, and if I'm correct on this, the Steelers would definitely have to sign Baker to like a short 1 year, we've been seeing some big players get those like 1 year, $7 million deals, small deals. But then if they get the full on extension in 2027, the 4 year, $90 million type deals, if teams decide to do that. But other than that, some players that have signed those small deals are on the free agent market next year and could end up signing elsewhere. So if teams want these players and want to take advantage of having these players on their roster this season, they're going to have to do it now, because there's a possibility those players may not be there next year. May not. Because another team could swoop in and say, hey, we'll give you this. Come play here. It could happen. So let's talk about some of the top free agents in the 2027 free agent market, which starts, I believe, March 14th. In 2027, that's when NFL free agency starts in 2027, I believe. So we're going to look at that. So NFL free agency begins on March 9th is tampering. And then March 11th at 4 p.m. is when the official 2027 free agent market opens. So I was a little off by a couple days. I was close, but it's still a Wednesday. So, but let's run down the quarterback list real quick. Some of the top quarterbacks ending up in the free agent market in 2027. Deshaun Watson of the Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Justin Fields of the Kansas City Chiefs, Anthony Richardson of the Indianapolis Colts, Mac Jones of the San Francisco 49ers, and Tua Tagovailoa of the Atlanta Falcons. Deshaun Watson, I see hitting the market. Where he goes, who knows? Cleveland knows that they made a mistake with the deal that they made with Deshaun Watson. They made that mistake, and they know it, and there's no way that they are going to give him another deal. I do not see Cleveland extending him. I do not see Cleveland giving him any more money. That ship is going to sail. I thought that ship was going to sail at the beginning of last year, and it didn't. It didn't. I think this is Shedeur Sanders' team in Cleveland, and if not, it's going to be another quarterback's team. But it will not be Deshaun Watson's team. Now, where Deshaun Watson goes, who knows? Who knows? Because when you look at it, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons are the only two teams at the moment, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are going to need starting quarterbacks in 2027. Now, will there be more teams? Probably. Probably. But as of right now, those are the three teams that sit needing a starting quarterback. I think if Cleveland was smart, they put Shedeur Sanders in there this year and just let him run. Deshaun Watson, backup. The guy hasn't taken a snap of football in 2 years. Shedeur Sanders has been progressing. That's a foregone conclusion decision. But as far as where Deshaun Watson goes, who knows? Who knows? Baker Mayfield, I think Tampa gives him an extension. If they don't, that would be crazy. Be crazy. Justin Fields, I mean, here's the thing is we know Patrick Mahomes is going to play in 2027, or 2026. He plans on being back for week 1. But Justin Fields, I think he should continue training like he is going to kick off the season because, hey, what if Patrick Mahomes has a setback? What if a team wants to trade for Justin Fields because they need a starter because their quarterback went down in camp? Be ready. Keep yourself ready. And Justin Fields has shown that he can be a productive quarterback in this league. He showed signs of it in Pittsburgh 2 years ago. He has showed small signs of it in the past with Chicago. So I think Justin Fields, he's still young, has an opportunity to prove himself. Anthony Richardson, I think he ends up in Minnesota. That's that. I do. Kevin O'Connell seems very high on Anthony Richardson, and I think he ends up in Minnesota. Whether he becomes a starting quarterback or not, I don't know. That's going to be up to number 1, J.J. McCarthy, whether J.J. can prove to stay in Minnesota, and Kyler Murray, whether Kyler Murray could show that he can give some production in Minnesota. If not, Anthony Richardson, I still think could be a productive starter in this league. He can. And I think Minnesota is his landing spot. So, as far as Mac Jones obviously has proven that he could be a proven starter in this league. He did it. He was showing that in San Francisco, kept San Francisco's head above water last year. Let's face it. He did. As far as where he goes, don't know. And Tua Tagovailoa, I think this is going to be his final opportunity in Atlanta to show that he could be a starting quarterback in this league. So, as far as running backs, running back of the Indianapolis Colts, Jonathan Taylor, New Orleans Saints, Alvin Kamara, Chicago Bears, DeAndre Swift, Tennessee Titans, Tony Pollard, Vikings running backs, Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, James Conner of the Arizona Cardinals, Isaiah Pacheco of the Detroit Lions, Zach Charbonnet of the Seattle Seahawks, Tank Bigsby of the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll throw the fullbacks in there real quick. Kyle Juszczyk of the 49ers, Andrew Beck of the Jets, Ben Van Sumer of the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. Let's run down this list real quick. Jonathan Taylor, he's going to get the extension out in Indianapolis. I believe that, and I think it's going to happen before the season kicks off this year. Alvin Kamara, he's going to be out of New Orleans, and where he goes in 2027, don't know. DeAndre Swift, he'll get an extension in Chicago. Seems like he's having a good time in Chicago. He's making production in Chicago. And him and Kyle Monangai with that 1-2 punch out there is amazing. If Chicago would let him walk, it would be a mistake. Tony Pollard, same thing in Tennessee. I mean, Tony Pollard was in Dallas. He showed a little bit in Dallas, goes to Tennessee, had a great year in Tennessee last year. Yes, Tennessee in a whole did not have a great year last year. But guys like Cam Ward, Tony Pollard, a couple of the receivers out there, the young guys out there, they showed progress. Tony Pollard in Tennessee fits. I don't see why Tennessee does not spend the money on Tony Pollard to keep him there. Bottom line. I believe Aaron Jones will be out of Minnesota next year, but Jordan Mason will end up taking over that team at running back. I believe they do extend Jordan Mason over Aaron Jones. That's just that. I do. Aaron Jones is getting up there. He's in the twilight of his career in a sense. I think Jordan Mason takes over the Minnesota Vikings in 2027. James Conner in Arizona, same thing. I think this is it for him in Arizona. I think he walks, and I think Arizona thinks about the future. They brought in Jeremiah Love. They have Trey Benson out there. They might be able to turn that Jeremiah Love and Trey Benson into a 1-2 punch. Who knows? Who knows? But that's what I think is going to happen out in Arizona. As far as Isaiah Pacheco, it's going to be a proven year for him in Detroit this year, whether he gets a contract next year or not. And Seattle would be making a huge mistake if they let Zach Charbonnet walk. Yes, he dealt with the injury last year, but they just lost. You know, they just let their Super Bowl MVP in Kenneth Walker walk and go to Kansas City. Why would you let it happen 2 years in a row with Zach Charbonnet? And this is why I say Seattle will not repeat what they did last year. That was a one-off thing. They are going to, at best, be 10-7, 7 seed in the playoffs this year. And probably be done. Seattle is not going to Super Bowl 61. They aren't even going to get close to the conference championship. Okay? And they're not winning their division. I got San Francisco winning the West. So Tank Bigsby, Philadelphia, I think, will bring him back. Him and Saquon Barkley seem to be a good in and out running back tandem. Tank Bigsby, I think he loves being in Philly. I think he stays in Philly and gets an extension. Kyle Juszczyk, I mean, he's getting up there. I think his thing is going to be 1-year deals in San Francisco until he retires. We know him as a 49er, and that's that. I don't think the 49ers are going to let that go. I think we'll see Kyle Juszczyk get like a 1-year, $14 million deal to stick around next year, and then in 2028 make a decision whether he continues doing so or not. So Andrew Beck with the Jets. If the Jets want to build, try and keep guys around. That's the only way you're going to build the team and try and be successful again. Try and keep guys around, and Andrew Beck is a guy that they should try and keep around. Ben Van Sumeren, I think he sticks around in Philadelphia at the fullback position as well. So as far as wide receivers, here's the wide receiver position. George Pickens of the Dallas Cowboys, Davante Adams of the Los Angeles Rams, Chris Godwin of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Juwan Jennings of the Minnesota Vikings, Chris Olave of the New Orleans Saints, Christian Kirk of the San Francisco 49ers, Darnell Mooney of the New York Giants, Treylon Burks of the Washington Commanders, Diami Brown of the Washington Commanders, Rashee Rice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Tutu Atwell of the Miami Dolphins. Okay, so that's a pretty all-star cast right there of wide receivers who are going to become free agents in 2027, right? Let's run down this. George Pickens, Dallas would be stupid if George Pickens has at least a 1,000-yard receiving year, which is expected to happen, and has at least 10 touchdowns this season. They would be dumb not to spend the money on him. Yeah, he had a rough go in Pittsburgh. He goes out to Dallas and realizes, hey, I can bake something here. And last year he did. Now I get it. You want to franchise tag him and see if he can give you a repeat of what he did last year. He kind of has to still prove himself. That's understandable. But if he does it, then you need to pay him, Dallas. You have this bad habit of not paying guys that deserve to be paid. And you have a bad habit of paying guys who have not really proven to be paid. It's kind of supposed to work the other way around, Jerry. You should know this. You've been at this since 89. Let's go. Earlier than that. I think it was like 84 or 85, somewhere around there. But you should know this. Davante Adams, he's kind of in the twilight. I could see him, if he has a really good year this year, I could see him, signing that 1-year deal to stick around in Los Angeles and not go anywhere. Chris Godwin, I mean, you look at Chris Godwin, he's kind of in the middle of his career. He's had some successful years, had some years where he's dealt with injuries. I don't think Tampa Bay spends the money on him. I think he's going to end up walking. I do. And it's sad to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kind of fall apart at the seams. But I think Chris Godwin walks. And as far as fits, crazy enough to say, but Miami, get down there, work with Malik Willis a little bit. I don't know. Just a thought. Juwan Jennings, really good fit in San Francisco. He fits in Minnesota. I think he sticks around in Minnesota. I think he gets a bigger deal. He's one of those players that got that 1-year deal with a little bit amount of money because of Minnesota's cap space. I think they extend him. I think Juwan Jennings is in a Minnesota Vikings uniform in 2027. So Chris Olave, same with the Saints. I think he's in New Orleans for the foreseeable future. Christian Kirk, sad enough, he's bounced around a little bit. Christian Kirk is a good wide receiver. He's going to have to prove himself in San Francisco. And he's probably going to be the slot guy because you have Ricky Pearsall and Mike Evans out there. So he's going to be a slot guy. He's going to be a number 3 or 4. So it's going to be a little rough out there for Christian Kirk, which really stinks. Sadly enough, I possibly see him elsewhere somewhere next year. So Darnell Mooney, I think the Giants, just like the New York Jets, if you want to build a team, you got to keep guys around and build on it. Darnell Mooney needs to get a contract out in New York so they can build on that team. Washington Commanders, I think they keep Treylon Burks and Diami Brown around. Rashee Rice, I think Kansas City is at a brink right now with Rashee Rice. I think they're really thinking about whether they should keep him or not or move on from him. If Rashee Rice does move on, I could see him in a place like New England, and New England try and turn themselves into a super team. A.J. Brown coming in. You got Drake May out there at the quarterback position. I can see Rashee Rice possibly in a New England uniform. That sucks to say, but especially after us finally getting over that New England domination for the past, how many years? 20 years? Man, they could turn into that again. So, man, Tutu Atwell, I think he should stick around in Miami. And that's that. Tutu Atwell's a good wide receiver. I liked him in Los Angeles, and I think he's going to do good things in Miami if they can get things rolling. So we'll have to see. As far as tight ends, TJ Hockenson, Evan Ingram, Hunter Henry, Dallas Goedert, David Njoku, Sam Laporta. Oh my gosh, I'm not even saying the teams. TJ Hockenson of the Minnesota Vikings, Evan Ingram of the Denver Broncos, Hunter Henry of the New England Patriots, Dallas Goedert of the Philadelphia Eagles, David Njoku of the Los Angeles Chargers, Sam Laporta of the Detroit Lions, Michael Mayer of the Las Vegas Raiders, and Tucker Kraft of the Green Bay Packers. Some of the guys I see sticking around with their teams, TJ Hockenson, Evan Ingram, David Njoku, Sam Laporta, Tucker Kraft. Those are the players that I think will be signed by the team they're on today. They will get extensions next year. Now, looking at the tight ends that I don't think are going, and Hunter Henry out in New England. Sorry. The two tight ends I don't see getting the extension is Dallas Goedert out in Philadelphia, which is sad enough. Love Dallas Goedert. Love seeing him in an Eagles uniform, but I do not think that Philly is going to give him the extension. I don't. Will it shock me if they do extend him? No. No. Will not shock me. I just don't think that they are going to extend him. They drafted a tight end for the future in Eli Stowers. I don't think they keep Dallas Goedert around. I don't. Michael Mayer in Las Vegas, he's going to end up somewhere that needs a tight end because Michael Mayer has a promising future in the league. He's still a young tight end. So, yeah. As far as offensive linemen, I exempted them from the list because there are so many offensive lineman free agents out there, and it's so hard to more so keep up with them. So I didn't put offensive linemen on this list. I didn't. So, yeah. Let's move over to the defensive side of the ball, starting off with the edge rushers that are going to be top free agents in 2027. Khalil Mack of the Los Angeles Chargers, Eric Armstead of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Kayvon Thibodeau of the New York Giants, Jermaine Johnson of the Tennessee Titans, DJ Wonnum of the Detroit Lions, BJ Ojulari of the Arizona Cardinals, Tuli Tuipolatu of the Los Angeles Chargers, Byron Young of the Los Angeles Rams, Yaya Diaby of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Yasir Abdul of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, those are the edge rushers. Now, the edge rushers, I think, will stick around with their teams. Jermaine Johnson in Tennessee. I believe he did sign I honestly think Jermaine Johnson signed an extension. I think, because I made this list a while ago. So I believe Jermaine Johnson got an extension. He's on a 4-year rookie contract. Okay, so he did not. He's on the 5th-year option. Okay. I see Tennessee picking up his 5th year. Definitely. And he's going to get an extension with Tennessee. Again, Tennessee is another team. Keep the guys around, build the team. He sticks around. I see DJ Wonnum in Detroit, BJ Ojulari in Arizona, Tuli Tuipolatu in Los Angeles. I see Byron Young, Byron Young of the Rams, Yaya Diaby of the Bucs, all sticking around. Now, the players I don't see sticking around, Khalil Mack, we know he's on the back end of his career. It's going to be a year-to-year decision on whether he sticks around playing or not and who he plays with. Eric Armstead, we know he's bounced around a little bit. San Francisco, Jacksonville. It's could I see Jacksonville extending him probably for another year or two? I could. I think it's going to be his production that really proves whether he gets that extension or not. But I can see him sticking around in Jacksonville. And Kayvon Thibodeau, I think he gets traded out of New York, whether it's before the season kicks off this year or by the trade deadline in week 9. But I do not see him reaching. Well, if he gets traded, he'll reach the free agent market next year if the team that trades for him does not give him an extension. So he'll play through 2027. I think he gets traded, but then he's going to hit that market in 2027. Whether he gets the extension or not, who knows? And then Yasir Abdul, I mean, I'm a fan of Yasir Abdul. I would love to see him come to Philadelphia. Not going to lie. I think he would have some productive years in Philadelphia, but who knows? Maybe he sticks around in Jacksonville as well to try and build on that defense a little more. Defensive tackles on the free agent list for 2027. DeForest Buckner of the Indianapolis Colts, Daron Payne of the Commanders, Leonard Williams of the Seahawks, Vita Vea, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, he's asking for a trade. So if not, he's on the free agent market next year. Malik Collins of the Browns, Devon Godshaw of the Saints, Shelby Harris of the Giants, Keanu Benton of the Steelers, Kobe Turner of the Rams, Isaiah Loudermilk of the Vikings, Patrick this is linebackers now. I don't want to get into that. Isaiah Loudermilk was the final defensive tackle. Loudermilk I see on free agency next year. Kobe Turner, I think, gets an extension with the Rams. Keanu Benton, I think, gets an extension with the Steelers. Shelby Harris will get the extension out in New York with the Giants. Devon Godshaw will get the extension out in New Orleans. Malik Collins will get the extension out in Cleveland. Vita Vea, don't know where he ends up. He asked for a trade. We're going to have to find out in the next couple days where he goes. So that's that. But if he ends up getting traded, he'll get an extension wherever he goes. Bottom line. Leonard Williams with the Seahawks, he'll get the extension. Daron Payne of the Commanders, he'll get the extension. DeForest Buckner will probably get an extension out in Indianapolis. They'll keep their defensive guys around. As far as linebackers, Patrick Queen of the Steelers, Frankie Luvu of the Commanders, Dre Greenlaw of the 49ers, Drew Tranquill of the Chiefs, Akeem Davis-Gaithers of the Colts, Christian Roseboom of the Buccaneers. And that's it for the linebackers. Patrick Queen out in Pittsburgh. Let's just put it this way. If Pittsburgh does not progress this year, if they finish 9-8, 10-7, make the playoffs, lose in the first round, I think they're going to put themselves in a rebuild mode in 2027, but still keep some of the guys that will be productive for them, like to keep their thing rolling of winning seasons, right? This is season number 21 that they're working on as far as winning seasons. Okay. So I think they're only going to do so much of a rebuild, so they're not put in that complete category. Patrick Queen in Pittsburgh. I mean, when you look at Patrick Queen's stats in Pittsburgh, and let's just look over his stats in Pittsburgh for a minute, because he's been in Pittsburgh for, I believe, 2 years now, coming over from Baltimore, right? 2024, he had 65 combined tackles. Hold on, this ain't his complete stats. I gotta pull him up. All right, so here we go. So he's in 2024, he had 129 total tackles, 65 solo, 64 assisted. Okay, so he's 50-50 on the solo to assisted. That's nuts. He's had 1 sack. He's a linebacker. Linebackers particularly don't get too many sacks. In 2025, almost the same thing. He had 65 solo in 2024, 56 solo in 2025, and he had 64 assisted tackles in both years. 1 sack in both years. 2 forced fumbles in 2024, 1 in 2025. Okay, so that's production, and he's had 2 really good years in Pittsburgh. 2 really good years. Now he's in the league 7 years now. He was drafted in 2020, so this will be year 7. I mean, he's 27 years old. He's still young enough. Pittsburgh might extend him. I think this year is going to be a proving ground for him. Frankie Luvu, he'll get the extension out in Washington. They love Frankie Luvu out there. Same with Dre Greenlaw in San Francisco, Drew Tranquill in Kansas City. Akeem Davis-Gaithers, I could see him becoming a free agent, maybe test the market and see where else he can go. He's still a decently young player. But if not, Indianapolis will keep him for another year. Christian Roseboom, I liked him out in Carolina. If Tampa Bay is going to put themselves in a rebuild mode, give that guy an extension. Let him be a leader on defense. That'd be the smart thing to do. Defensive backs, we're going to include cornerbacks and safeties, and then that's going to be it for this list. Tariq Woolen of the Philadelphia Eagles, Marlon Humphrey of the Baltimore Ravens, Christian Fulton of the Kansas City Chiefs, Chidobe Awuzie of the Ravens, Asante Samuel Jr. of the Steelers, Jesse Bates of the Falcons, Grant Delpit of the Browns, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson of the Buffalo Bills. I see Philadelphia giving Tariq Woolen the extension. I do. That would not surprise me if they do like a double deal with Quinyon Mitchell next year, because they're going to have to give Quinyon Mitchell an extension next year. And Tariq Woolen, I think, will be a part of that list of players to get extended. Tariq Woolen's going to be a Philadelphia Eagle for a decently long time. So I think he gets the extension. I think Humphrey gets the extension out in Baltimore, Christian Fulton out in Kansas City, Awuzie out in Baltimore, Asante Samuel out in Pittsburgh, Jesse Bates out in Atlanta, Grant Delpit in Cleveland, CJ Gardner-Johnson. I mean, he's bounced around a little bit. I think this, honestly, with everything that's been going on with CJ Gardner-Johnson, let's face it, he's had his best years in Philadelphia. He's also had problems in Philadelphia. Okay? So, it all lies to see what he does in Buffalo. I think this is his last chance to prove that he could be a leader, a representative for the organization and the team, and all the above things that can make yourself look good to get paid. If not, you're going to end up a free agent and possibly not get picked up again. I think this is his last chance, and Buffalo's giving it to him. Houston gave it to him. Detroit gave it to him. Philly gave it to him. I think this is it. So, sadly enough. And I like CJ Gardner-Johnson. I do. I like him as a player. His attitude, I don't mind his attitude, but sometimes he can go too far. He can. That's just that. So, all right, guys, it's that time. Let's get out of here. TikTok, Instagram, X, and on YouTube. That's where you can follow me on social media personally. You guys know I don't do much on social media by myself or on my own. You know, I'm trying to get the YouTube channel stuff going, but I just don't know what kind of content I want to put out yet. It's going to be video game content. I just don't know what video game content I want to put out there. I don't. I was thinking about getting WWE 2K and kind of doing like a storyline thing, but I don't know. I don't know yet. Huddle Hub Podcast over on TikTok, Instagram, X, and on Epic Studios at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit that follow button. YouTube, you're going to hit the subscribe button. And, of course, over on the Twitch channel at the Huddle Hub Podcast, hit that follow button. All the social media outlets are in the Twitch bio. Just click on the one you desire to go to and help us build the Huddle Hub Podcast for the rest of the 2026 NFL preseason and beyond. With that being said, guys, I will be back on Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on the Huddle Hub Podcast with all the news coming out of the world of football. The first week of training camp is going to be in the books, and I'm going to have another fun segment put together for you guys on Sunday. So come join me 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Twitch and YouTube. Until then, be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. See you guys Sunday morning. Until then, have a great week. Deuces.